So frozen food is always good to have on hand, just because it's useful for more than one thing. It'd be good in a breakfast smoothie, good with oatmeal for breakfast, good to make a dessert. You could turn it into a pie or put it in a cake, or just eat it as it is. So that's one of the things I like to have on hand is in the freezer is frozen fruit. So you make your list, then you make your menu list, then you make your actual grocery shopping list done in the sections, so that when you go to the grocery store, and here's the other thing, is you stick to your list as best you can. Now, everybody wants to have treats. If you see something that's on sale that you really like, or you've got a little bit, you leave yourself a few dollars in your budget, so that if you wanted to get that thing of candy that's on sale that you really like, or if you wanted to get an extra thing of whatever, or you wanted to get, yourself some soda or whatever, anything that's not strictly meal related, it's good to leave a little room to get those indulgences. You don't want to shop strictly for meals and then not feel like cooking and then have nothing to eat and nothing to drink. Like, that's not wise either. So, one of the things I forgot to put on the list was ramen noodles. Like, you have the cup of noodles. Ramen in the bag are actually cheaper, and they're more versatile, because the ones that come in the styrofoam cup or the paper cup, that's pretty much all you can do with them. But the ones that are in the plastic bags, you can then turn into other things. You can boil those noodles. They cook in 3 minutes. They're super fast. You can even do it in the microwave in a big bowl. And then you can add some of your stir-fried veggies and a little bit of soy sauce, and even crack an egg over it and microwave it, or do that on the stovetop when it's almost done, and you've got yakisoba. And I will actually make that in a later video. I'll make you cheap, fast yakisoba, so you can know how to do that as well. There'll be more recipes. There'll be a couple of recipes of super fast, super easy things that I like to do when I have very little time or I'm not interested in cooking, but I want to eat. So that will be a later video. And the last piece of when you're doing this is, yes, you stick to the list. Yes, make the list, stick to the list. But the other thing that I do to be most efficient and to keep track of my money is I will write down on the list as I go how much something costs. Okay, bell peppers, they're $1, they're 98 cents each. I round up to the nearest zero, and I always round up. That way, because I'm bad at math and I don't like carrying a calculator and perfectly calculating it, so I just do estimation. So bell peppers are 98 cents a pound, and I get 2 of them. And they weigh about half a pound between the 2, then I'm just going to round that up to $1. So it's $1 for bell peppers. I write that down. And then because I write down that next to the item how much it costs, and then over on the side I have a running tally. So $1 for bell peppers. And the tomatoes, they were on sale, end up just being so much a pound, that end up being, 58 cents worth for a tomato. So I'll round it up to 60. So now it's 160. And so on. And, if the chili that I like, it happens to be 2 for $1.98 instead of what it usually is, great, I'll write down $2 instead of $1.98, because I'm running up to near zero. And I find that helps me a lot with estimating. And if you shop anywhere outside of Oregon, there's sales tax. So rounding up to the nearest zero can kind of help cover the difference in sales tax. If you want to, you can perfectly calculate it. I used to use my smartphone as a calculator to know exactly how much everything was and exactly what the running total was, because I only had $19 for a week's worth of food, and I had to be really careful with what I had. And so you can do that. You can be really precise. An estimate usually was enough to keep me happy, because it didn't take a lot of computing power in my head. I'm not naturally good with numbers, but I could keep track of what it is I've spent, of what's in the cart. And if I wrote it down next to the items, then even if I lost track in the running tally, I could say, oh, okay, I got all of this, and that was 20, and then I added the shredded cheese, that was this much. Okay, now I know how much it costs for the things in my cart. So by the time I get to the checkout, it's not a surprise. I know what I've spent. And that helps me stay within a budget. So I don't spend all of my money on groceries in the first 2 weeks and end up not eating much of anything but the ramen in the last 2 weeks of the month. So those are my tips for grocery shopping efficiently and cost effectively and well. And I hope that was helpful. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.